Saludos everybody, welcome back to Decent Shirt, where we play cards while we wear decent shirts. And for today's video, I got my visor on, I got a light shirt, and it's because this battle is heating up. We're finally gonna go and show you guys our second round of our early Firestorm matchup between Fire Artifacts and Solar Foretell. So, if you haven't caught up and haven't watched my first round or the two deck profiles that I made on both the Fire Artifact and the Solar Foretell, you should really get onto that before you watch this video. Regardless if you haven't, and if you don't want to, that's fine. I think that after today's match, you're going to change your mind. That being said, let's just get on to the video. Alrighty, so for this second round, I'm gonna be the one starting, and we're gonna see that I am going to start with an Apollo. And from the get-go, you're gonna see me think whether do I want to play two spirits under the Apollo or just one, because I do not know if the opponent has a Lavalith in hand. We know that he's playing fire, but ultimately we choose to go with triple Luminates, and it's one of the best things I could have done because I am able to see out of that Foretell a Soul Bell Champion of Apollo, which, if you don't know, it's able to be special casted if it is foretold by the Apollo effect. But it also allowed me to add an Exaltus to hand, and this Exaltus is going to be very crucial because it's going to then allow me to nexus from that Apollo to then search for a Celestleo. So this is as good as a turn one as you could ask for in the solar deck, because not only are you having two bodies on board, but also are you searching your big boss monster, in this case Celestleo, to the hand and making sure that you are putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. If they out the Soul Bell, then you can threaten next turn by adding a Lostragon, which would then allow you to still put a big body on board. On the other hand, if they trade them to destroy the Exaltus, you still have the Soul Bell, so they have a lot to deal with. And we're gonna see that the opponent's gonna have some cards that can actually allow him to go for this. We're gonna see him start with the Volcaries that he's eyeing, which on cast will allow him to search for the Hephaestus, and this will allow him to generate a lot of fire spirits on the underworld, which is going to be very important for the Volcaries effect to then cast artifacts using fire spirits from the underworld. So that's really good. But we do see that he had a Hestia in hand, double Hestia actually, and a Necrof. That means that he can potentially go and cast Necrof with the Hestia effect, since I do have two Elestrals on board. So this is one of the punishes that the Fire Artifact Hestia build can actually promote, is if your opponent goes for a wide strategy such as like the mine, the one that I'm playing, you can then choose to play the Hestia and either ascend or just equalize the board state. And Necrof is as good as any Celestial to be able to be casted to the field. So we're gonna see me go or not me, sorry, Red Sun. He's going to go for the he's thinking whether he should go for 3 or 2 fire spirits. He's ultimately gonna go for 3 fire spirits. So I kind of agree with this. If he's expecting the Hephaestus to stay along, Solar is not known for having a lot of rune removal outside of something like their big beaters, so I don't think this is a bad play at all. It does allow the Hephaestus to search for another artifact the next following turn, or if he is expecting to have a Kinleo in hand, he can also give a Nexus back without losing the Hephaestus, therefore not turning off the Volcaries effect. We're gonna see him go and search for the Poison Tunic with the Hephaestus effect, which is really solid for a myriad of reasons, honestly. One of them is the fact that a Poison Tunic goes plus on the opponent because you are able to burn your opponent for 2 if you destroy it by battle. And so while this would be neutral because you would put your own 2 spirits, the fact that you use the 2 spirits from your underworld effectively recycling your spirits with the Volcaries effect makes it so that you get a huge amount of advantage with this effect. Now we're seeing him go for the Hestia. He's eyeing how many Hestias he wants to go, how many fire spirits he wants to go for on the Hestia, but since he already has another Hestia in hand, there's no need to really put a lot of spirits on the Hestia, and we're gonna see him just go for one to basically cast the Necroth. Alright, so he's putting a lot of pressure on board. He can potentially try to destroy both Elestrals, but I think that he's eyeing the Poison Tunic, maybe being a little bit greedy. He does have the Fire Spirits in the Underworld, he does have Reforged, so it does mean that even if the Poison Tunic is dealt with, he can still return it the following turn. But here I'm just reminding him, right? It's so easy to forget that you can use the Fire Spirits from the Underworld, because it is like, you know, an instinct to just go search from the Spirit deck. But here I just reminded him, and he effectively goes for the Fire Spirits from the Underworld. He's gonna target my Exaltus, making sure that I lose a lot of spirits in the process. He's gonna try to swing with the Necroth, but then I'm gonna use Shield, and since he basically empowers my Exaltus, I'm gonna take advantage of this to get rid of that Poison Tunic by using the Spirit on the Exaltus and being able to return the Necroth, which is really solid because the Volcaries can't beat over the Soul Belt. This is as good as it gets for me. I took away the Poison Tunic, I took away the target, and I made it so the opponent cannot really do much. So we're gonna go for the Apollo effect. At this point, I'm just making sure that it's worth going for the Celestial effect, and effectively we do see a Lumaru. So instead of adding it, since we're just going to ascend into the Celestial, we want to make sure that we have a solar target, and there's no guarantee that if we add that Lumaru, we're gonna see another solar target. So I'm gonna use the effect of Foretelling, and see, it was a Tsunami. So effectively, it was a correct play to not add the Lumaru. We're going to see that he's going to instinctively destroy it, but he remembers, oh wait, this is Tsunami, let's just use it. I'm just going to stack my top, and he's going to change my Celestial to defense. Still, we're putting a lot of pressure. It's going to be very hard for the opponent to be able to beat over the 12 defense on the Celestial, or sorry, on the 10 defense, my bad. So very strong. It means that even with a Necklace of Harmonia, which you can potentially add with the Hephaestus, it will not be enough with the Necroth. He's gonna need something else. So I feel very comfortable because I did put the Windjin on top, which means that the following turn I can just go Windjin, and since I already know the top deck, which would probably be Tsunami or Gorgons, I can just cast Tornadion even if they out the Celestial. And this is what I mean. This is Ascensions in Firestorm feels so strong right now because there are so many ways to get into your Ascensions without having to wait too many turns. And right now he's gonna have to burn a lot of resources to try to destroy the Celestial, but will that be enough even after they destroy the Celestial? That's the thing. So we're seeing that the opponent is just having a hard time really thinking about what exactly he should bring here. And we see that he's going to use the Hephaestus. He's talking to me at this moment. He's thinking, oh yeah, sorry, it's just that I keep forgetting that you only have to disenchant one from Hephaestus. He was thinking that he had to disenchant two, but I remind him that no, it's just one, and he just tells me how broken he feels Hephaestus is now that Volcaries allows you to use the spirits and that you only have to disenchant one to search for an artifact. We're gonna see him go for the Necklace of Harmonia, so at this point I'm getting a little bit, okay, he has the necklace. Does he have something else? He would have to have two artifacts that raise the stats or that lower my defense, so that way he can break over the Celestial barrier. But we're gonna see him go for the Necroth once more. So currently he has 5 attack. The Necklace of Harmonia can potentially give him up to 10 attack, But I do not see in his hand anything that can really raise his stats all that much. We're seeing him eyeing the fire spirits. He was confirming that he can't just add the water spirits with the Volcaries. We're gonna see him go for the Reforge, which will allow him to return the Poison Tunic in the Underworld. But Poison Tunic is not gonna do all that much right now, because it doesn't lower the defense, it only lowers the attack. Here we gotta remind him that Reforge is so broken that it actually allows him to recover spirits. So this is one of the main tools that Fire just got. The idea that now not only do you have solid stats on your 1-drops and solid destruction options, you also have ways to recover spirits between an Ash Rabbit, Reforge, and even to a certain degree Volcaries. It does feel like the fire artifacts or the fire element in general feel a lot more complete. It feels like it has all the different bases covered. So it does seem like my opponent is gonna go for the golden fleece that he had in hand. He's gonna probably empower the Necrof. Yep, we confirm it. So he's gonna empower the Necrof just to see, okay, maybe I can stick it for one more turn. I can protect the Necrof, and then maybe next turn I can go for a Torch of Hestia, add it to hand, and then that will be enough. Or he's thinking that he's got, here we see him burn the 2 spirits with the Necklace of Ammonia. We're gonna see me draw into the Windshin that I basically put on the top of the deck. And ironically enough, with all the spirits that he put in play, it actually activated my resting on your laurels. That's something that you don't see every day, playing your 3-drop and also having ability to cast resting on your laurels is very it's kind of funny, I gotta admit. So Celestleo is gonna activate his effect to Foretell 4. We're gonna see another Windshin, a Tsunami, a Gorgons, and there we see the Soul Bell. The Soul Bell is actually going to be coming very clutch, because it's actually going to allow me to destroy the Necrof. And just like that, I was able to remove the Necrof with a Golden Fleece by being able to use the 2 removal effects. And now I cast Calf Mail, which is going to put a lot of pressure on the opponent, because even if he outs this Calf Mail, I'm going to be healing a lot of spirits. Now, Celeste is going to go and swing over the Volcaries. We're going to see him lose 2 spirits over that, and then the Calf Mail for 1. And right now, my opponent is at a pickle right now, because it does not seem like he has an... Wait, no, he does have a Helios and a Poison Tunic. So he can go Poison Tunic on the Calf Mail and then play Helios, target the Celestial, but that's not what he's gonna do. Oh no, he did not see that play. He did not. It seems like he zeroed in on just using Helios or the Poison Tunic for his own Elestrals. I don't know why he just didn't see it. Oh my god, okay. So we do see him go for the Ambrosia, but at this point, that was probably one of the more important plays. That was a huge misplay. We're going to see him set 2 cards, which we know are not any threat to our board. And it could always just end up being destroyed with the Celestial effect. We're going to see me go for the Windshin, try to activate his effect. We do know that we have a Tsunami, which is what we had named. We could have added the Gorgons because we had seen the Gorgons, but at this point, I think that Tsunami is going to be more than enough. It's going to allow us to then send into a Turnitin. I do show him the Marmal, or however you call it, right? The new border on the Lycaris. Anyhow, I do cast the Turnitin, which is going to allow me to add one of 3 possible cards that I name, which all have different names, by expending 1 Wind or Solar Spirit, which is what exactly I'm going to do right now. And at this point, I'm just basically sealing the deal. I'm just adding more advantage for the sake of adding advantage. I'm gonna choose Apollo. I'm gonna choose probably a Lostragon. And most likely a first light, like Apollo, Lostragon, first light, just to make sure that I have something to respond the following turn. We're gonna see Lostragon or Gorgons, and Apollo. All right, all those cards still really solid. Gorgons just gets me another form of protection, and we're gonna see that the opponent's gonna choose the Apollo out of the three, sorry. And so Apollo's gonna be solid because it's also going to allow me to basically set up the board, maybe even see another Soul Bell. So at this point, I'm feeling like I have full control of the game. We're setting one card, which is the Tsunami that we telegraph, and we're gonna foretell 4. And here's just gonna be like, what? I'm gonna see 3 Solar Elestrals, which is going to decimate the back row of the opponent, which we know that it didn't have anything, but just knowing that you're just destroying all the different cards. He only has 1 card in hand right now, and he's gonna take 6 damage from that. He does draw into an Ambrosia, which is going to come in pretty clutch. And we're gonna see him expend 1 to draw. But unfortunately, that expending to draw, even if he did draw a Reforge, but that's not going to save him because he's not going to be able to cast a Healer. The turn to cast a Healer should have been the last turn. But unfortunately, he did not see that play, and now it's biting him in the butt again. Damn. We're going to see him go with the Necklace of Harmonia. So one of the cute things here, even though he did make the misplay, is just putting emphasis on how much spirits the fire deck has been able to heal from this. He's realizing, oh, I could have gone Necklace of Harmonia and then cast the healers, but he does not have enough spirits, and he couldn't even play it because he had already expended to draw that turn anyway. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna like rub salt on the wound. I don't know why. I mean, we were in good fun. I'm just going to go and ascend into the Exaltus just so I can heal 3 for the whatever reason. I'm drawing out the game. It's not really necessary. I can just swing and it ends the game. But I'm just going with the Foretell 4 because what ifs. We do see it, the first lights, but no Solar Elestrals, and then just swing for game. All right. And with that, I do think that we should head to our final thoughts. Whew. What do you guys think about that? Man, that was one heck of a battle, especially for the Solar player, because oh boy, did the opponent just like swarm the field and just destroy everything. The Foretell just looked kind of OP. Guys, if you haven't checked the deck profiles, I highly recommend that you do, because these decks are looking very, very strong, and it just might be that the strongest deck might not even be Fire or Wind. It just might be Solar. Alright, so that will be all from me. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because we're trying to get to 100 subscribers, and we can only do that with your help. So, that will be all. Decent Shirt, signing out.